Not dead yet. He's still watching.
In the last video, I explained my company, Live Present's core mission is to help men live in the present, find their purpose, and change the world. And I shared that our first product is just a few months away. It's a nootropic hydration drink mix that's focused on mental clarity and driving self-awareness. But I never explained why and why now. And what does any of this have to do with wasting your life? Let's start at the beginning. June 18th, 2017. That summer morning, I woke up feeling different. I couldn't think straight, I had intense brain fog, and I had really bad body fatigue. It was a little freaky, but I just thought that it would go away the next day, so I didn't really pay much attention to it. In reality, I ended up staying like this for 7 years straight. Only after 6.5 years of this nightmare did the doctors finally find a diagnosis: severe growth hormone deficiency, post-traumatic brain injury, or concussion. Essentially, I'd hit my head a few times too many while skateboarding, and that damaged the growth hormone production in my pituitary gland right below my brain. And yes, I wore a helmet when skateboarding. I always thought growth hormone was something that was for puberty, but as an adult, if you're not producing a steady amount of growth hormone, it seriously impacts your mental health on a second-by-second basis. I learned that from experience. This hormone regulates your emotions, how social you are, how strong you are, and even some of your moral judgments. Just for reference and how deficient I was, my lab results came back at 10x lower than normal growth hormone range for an adult. Unfortunately, this was the cause behind why for so many years I laid in bed all day, isolated from my friends, and overindulged in social media. I kept telling myself that the good old days were over and my optimism was slowly but surely dying. Maybe under completely different circumstances, you resonate very deeply with this. Your screen time goes up, you start watching stuff you probably shouldn't, and you cave into this complacency and bitterness. The feeling that you push one step forward and you end up 10 steps back, that you've tried everything that you can and it's just not working. This is a defining point in your life. At the beginning of the video, I shared a quote from when I was 3. He's not dead yet, he's still alive. It may ring true that we've gone through some pretty sucky stuff, but we're still alive. I hope what I'm about to share is helpful for you to push past the urge to give in and waste more of your life's potential. You've got to do something about it and try. 3 things that have helped me out along the way. When I was at my lowest point, I started building behavioral evidence that I was becoming who I wanted to be. And don't start small, start embarrassingly small. For me, it was things like making sure I put my toothbrush back in the drawer or making sure I'm not on social media for the first 10 minutes of the day. These little actions will create order in your life, which subsequently will create order in your thought patterns. By first doing, you get real-world momentum happening that shapes how you think and slowly starts snapping you out of this mind state that's currently holding you back. If you feel you're passively wasting your life, it's maybe because given enough life experience and context, your brain is self-justifying that wasteful behavior. Building undeniable evidence that you're becoming who you set out to be with concrete evidence, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction of taking back control of your life and not wasting it. Another thing I started doing was intentionally cultivating a childlike optimism. I heard this quote from Alex Hormozy that said, "Pessimists are right 99% of the time, but wrong 100% of the time." Several years ago, it would have been nuts to think that my future would be better while I've been struggling for half a decade with chronic issues that the doctors weren't able to figure out at the time. But even though my neurochemistry and my beliefs were against me, it was absolutely necessary that I saw a way forward. The alternative is way worse, having to look back at the lack of progress in your life, deeply regretting all the precious time that you wasted, having nothing to show for it. This isn't to shame you, it's to say that you can start again right now and approach life with a different, more optimistic perspective this time. Childish optimism is more creative than PhD level pessimism. It's elementary and oversimplistic, but it works. This last one has made the biggest difference, and that's valuing my time. I've found that when I'm unclear about the desired outcome of something, that ambiguity leads to confusion and feeling overwhelmed. And when I'm overwhelmed, I subconsciously seek distraction. If you're not clear what you want to achieve by the end of your life, you'll be uncertain in the actions that you take, not knowing if they're the right ones or not, and that's a surefire way to waste a lot of time. Once you've got a clear vision for what you're aiming at in life, and it's compelling at a soul level, you can't help but act. And the second you start acting on that vision, you'll notice how others will intentionally or unintentionally start eating away at that time that you need to set aside for the goals you have for your life. So you have to deeply value that time because nobody else will for you. And the time you spend on it is not a linear progression path, but rather a continual act of starting again and again and again. You've got a purpose. You've got a reason for being here on this planet. You've just got to experiment, tinker around a little bit, and find it, and go at it with everything that you've got. And that's why I started this, because I found insane value in actually trying at life and not living subject to poor mental and physical health. When I started growth hormone replacement therapy last year, I got my life back. My thoughts became clear. I feel like I was becoming myself again, not only alone, but with other people, and I have more energy to do normal life things. So my goal is to eliminate spending another day living with subpar health. And that's why the first product I'm making, ultimately for myself, is something I believe will help me to stop wasting as much time as humanly possible. It's a hydration powder with nootropics in it, like lion's mane and alpha GPC. It launches in May, so if you're looking for a supplement that will help you stop wasting your life, this is it. Click on the first link in the description. That'll take you to livepresent.com. There you can sign up for the email list to be the first to be notified when we launch on Amazon in just a few months. I also wanted it to be something I could take every day, so I made it mango flavored, and it could not have turned out any better. It tastes delicious. It's salty and it like foams at the top. It's so good. To round this video off, I actually want to go back to the first thing I said in the video. It's a little quote to remind you, no matter how much you feel like you're wasting your time, that there's always an opportunity to begin again and give your goals another shot. Remember, if nothing else, implement embarrassingly small behavioral changes with a childlike optimism and value your time. That's it. Here's the better things. Peace.
He's not dead yet. He's still watching.